Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Makeshift Chefs. I'm your host, Zach. Today we're actually going to be working on something. I got a little bit of leftover chicken from the other day. You'll see that the skin isn't quite as good as it could be. It's not going to be crispy or delicious. It's kind of soggy and wrinkly. It doesn't look that good, and it looks like we might have to soup it up a little bit with something. So I'm going to look around the kitchen and see what we got going on and try to make something very exciting. So we got some ketchup packets that I got lying around, got some brown sugar, got some soda. I got Dr. Pepper. I think that would go pretty good, but you could use Coke or root beer if you really want to. And I got this Worcester, the Worcestershire. No, the W sauce. Worcestershire sauce. So yeah, this is the basic stuff if you're balling on a budget. But if you could find a few extra things to spice it up a little bit and you want to be that extra, you could get something kind of spicy like cayenne pepper if you have some hot sauce from something. Maybe if you got some garlic or some leftover cloves from something else. Or a little cheese that I had from something else I cooked. Or broccoli stalks. On top, the actual flour part of it, and then there's the base at the bottom, which most people just throw out, but actually you could have a few uses for that.
Alright folks, so here's the game plan. I'm thinking we get all the broccoli stalks and we get the cheese together and that old little bit of mac and cheese that I showed you. We put that all together to get kind of like a mac and cheese sauce. Those other things, the ketchup packets and some of the brown sugar that we got lying around, we actually make a barbecue sauce with all that good stuff. And then we take that barbecue sauce, cook some of that chicken, and have that barbecue sauce give it some moisture and breathe some life back into it.
Now, I probably don't need to show you how to boil vegetables, but you just get the water in there, boil it up, make sure you got a lid. So now what you do is you get all the basic stuff and you mix it all together. First you have to undo all the ketchup packets. Now that you've finished all of that, it gives you just enough that'll probably be enough for the chicken. And so then you put in everything else. The brown sugar, you want to keep in mind that your soda already has a bunch of sugar in it, so you may put in a different amount than most normal barbecue sauces. But keep in mind the ketchup's the primary ingredient in most barbecue sauces. But all of the time they require some Worcestershire sauce, and so you want to put that in there. Usually do 1 tablespoon of that. You also pour in some of the sugar. Now some people do almost the same amount of sugar as ketchup that they have, but I decided to go for 1 tablespoon of it because it's already probably going to be sweet enough. And then you get a little bit of that soda in there. The reason that I wanted to add the soda in here is because a lot of the times people might have soda and it might lose some of its poppiness. And so what do you do with old soda that doesn't fizz anymore? Well, here we are. Now if you want, there's some of those extra ingredients I was telling you about. You could do a little bit of chili powder, you could do a little bit of garlic if you want, so I did some of that. You could also put in some mustard to give it a little more texture. So after you stir it for a little bit, you want to put it on a medium temperature, and after everything seems pretty well dissolved, then you just have it simmer for a little bit and just kind of evaporate some of the leftover liquids, leaving you with a thicker sauce. If you want to thicken it up a little bit more, you could add a little bit of flour or cornstarch. But now it's a fairly thick texture, kind of a saucy texture. So with this video, it's a little based on how much of each thing you have. The mac and cheese isn't probably going to be enough to make a whole side by itself, and so that's why the broccoli is very important. And so you kind of want to base how much, cheese and milk you use based on how many ingredients you have, because you want it to kind of balance out. If it's got too much broccoli, then you're not going to taste the delicious cheese. If it's got too much cheese, well, most people don't have a problem with that. Alright, and since you're going to be doing something at the same time, you want to kind of keep it low, so that way it gives you a little bit more time to prepare everything over here. But I'm going to add a little bit of milk in there. If you've got half and half, that's also really good because it makes it really creamy. But it's dependent on what you've got lying around. And then let's get a little cheese, please. If it's a little bit too liquidy, then that means that you've probably got enough milk. Maybe you need more cheese. But if it's looking like it's a little too thick, then maybe you do need a little bit more milk to lighten it up a bit. It's best if you could keep it in larger chunks, but if you have to get it into smaller chunks, that's just fine. That just means you'll probably have to like put it on something like some bread. Now when you cook it, it's going to be a little bit dry from the fridge, so you're going to want to get a little bit of water in the pan. So that way when it cooks, the chicken will get a little bit more moist. And I like to do kind of the similar trick to what I did last time, where I actually get a lid and then put that on to kind of partially cook it, partially steam it. Once you think it's kind of warm enough, then you can start implementing some of the sauce in there and then kind of stirring that in a little bit to get some of the flavor. I'm going to keep a little bit though to use as a topping because I think the sauce tastes better when it has like more of a coating. Oh, that smells delicious. Make sure you turn the temperature down also, so that way it's not completely boiling. It's making me really hungry. Alright, so now that everything's pretty well mixed together and it's kind of marinating in the sauce just a little bit, I'm going to put this lid back on here, and that'll keep all the juices stuck inside and make it taste very barbecue-y. When everything's a pretty good consistency, you got a nice sauce to add. Oh, look at that. See that color? That nice green color? That's nutrients. That's good stuff. So now you just plop that right in the mac and cheese, and then you add it all together, and you got a full meal. And now, the pièce de résistance. Boom! Oh, now that looks moist and delicious. Much better than earlier. And then you've got this creamy sauce we got going on. That looks delicious and ready to eat. Video, and you learned how to cook a few things using some random makeshift ingredients. If you guys actually have some stuff in your kitchens that you don't really know what to do with, or you always have 5 ingredients and you never know what to cook with it, put it in the comments. Then, maybe I'll dedicate an entire show to it. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all those good things if you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching Makeshift Chefs. Have a great one.